Howdy, howdy. This is an installation tutorial for the MKUltra Brainwashing Station asset. Firstly, it will come in a .unity package file. You'll drag it in, and you'll get a little prompt. You'll get an import button and cancel button. Click the import button. You'll then get a folder called Esoteric. Click into that, and then click on another one called MKUltra Brainwashing Station. You'll get this dragged to avi.prefab file. Drag that into your avatar. This previous one, you won't have anything in your avatar. So look like that. Boom, like that. Chances are you may have an avatar that's slightly different in size. So you can scale it depending on how large your avatar is. So if you have a small avatar, scale it, and you can move it back where it works well. There you are. Very good. Okay, now to switch around objects if you want, you can go to prefab, unpack completely. And let's say if you don't want the IBM, you can delete that, get all that stuff there. Now, if you want to move something around, like let's say I want the fan on the right side of that instead of the left, well, I can shift click that, get the both the things, boom, rotate it. There you go. Now it's on the right. Okay. So, that out of the way, make sure you do not rename things as that will break animations. You can rename, go in here, and change these around. Like let's say you want to MKUltra, make sure all these match, but then do that. Or if you have an assets folder, uh, do assets / that. There you go. Feel free to rename it whatever you want. You can also change around menu icons. I have them stored in here. Whatever. Okay, so now for making a custom video. Firstly, I have a link in here. You can go to that site. It allows you to switch like a .mp4 file into a GIF. The workflow you can use is you can then, MP4 to GIF. You can resize it. You'll need like a 4:3 aspect ratio, which looks like that. You don't technically need it, but it'll look good because if it's not, it won't fit on the screen. So just make sure you have that kind of aspect ratio. And then there's an optimize GIFs tab in that website. You can click that and then drag the GIF in and then select the method to like every second frame. So it'll remove every second frame from the GIF, basically splitting it in half. If you like a 60 FPS video, you can do that a bunch of times. So it's around like 8 FPS. You want as few frames as possible for the video to still look good because texture memory is very expensive when you have a bunch of individual images that you're splicing together. So it's a video. So once you have that, there is finally, I think it's called like a splice tab in that website where you can then split the GIF into a bunch of individual frames. Of course, you do not have to use this method. You can use whatever method you want. If you have a bunch of different videos and YouTube videos and you want to create your own video, you can, print screen and grab a screenshot of a frame and do that over and over. And then take all those images and drag them into Unity. I'll show you the next step. Etc. There's tons of different ways you can go about this, but that's just one way. It's just using that tool. It has everything you need if you already have a video. Keep in mind, if you want the audio with it as well, you can go, like there's plenty of MP4 to MP3 audio things on the internet. You can just drag it in and get an MP3 file out of it. You can also use DaVinci, for example. You can use DaVinci for a lot of these things. It's a free tool, but you can do this without installing third-party programs and just using websites and stuff. It's totally possible, which is very easy to do. So once you have all your individual frames, you can drag them into Unity. Keep in mind, they all need to be the exact same aspect ratio, or a similar aspect ratio. It takes the script I have takes the first image in your frame set and matches all the subsequent images against that first one for aspect ratios. So they all need to match the first one, or they all just need to be matching. If one of them are not matching, my script will tell you which specific file is not matching in the aspect ratio. It needs to be this because you're going to be making these images into a 2D array with a bunch of images essentially in a line, and they all have to be exactly the same, or else the decoder will not be able to properly splice the images into frames because they'll be different sizes. So they all have to be the same size. It won't work if they're not. So drag them into there. You can select the first one, select the last one, make sure they are optimized. So max size you can set to 256, apply. You can also do lower for better texture memory. And then once you have them all selected, boom, tools, flipbook, texture, 2D array from selection. This is a script I have in here. You'll then get a 2D array assets. You'll take that, you'll click the screen under Boyomi Special Effects Flipbook Texture Array. You'll drag that texture array into there. Keep in mind, the video you bring in will obviously have a different amount of frames. And the animation I have is designed for the video I have, which has 153 frames. Chances are, if you have like 80 frames, then it'll look probably a bit fast. It depends on how fast the original video was and what type of video, etc. So to test it first, you can open window animation. Click on any child object of MKUltra chair. You'll have a preview, a primary sequence. Click play. You'll then see the video playing. If it is too slow or too fast, do this. If it is too fast, this keyframe, 912, and set it to a lower number if it's too fast or a higher number if it's too slow. Example, if I need it to be twice as fast, then set it to 1800. Then it will play twice as fast. You can then click play again and see what the new speed looks like. For audio, again, separate it using some separator or whatever. Drag it into Unity. Audio is stored in here. MainBus, drag it into the audio clip right there. Keep in mind also the volume is already set to a pretty low volume because this audio file I have is very loud. So you're probably going to want to end up changing that. To change it, again, animation. This main bus right here sets the audio. So just change it to, let's say, 1, for example. I would recommend testing it on a low volume first. I have been blown my ears out with this audio before. So just, drag it in with this level, play, and then unmute, and you'll get the audio. Now, that is pretty much it, I think. Let's see. Yep. Okay, I think I mentioned everything. So if you need any additional help, of course, feel free to join the Discord. I have a bunch of links down here. All my assets are 100% off for the first 24 hours release, so feel free to get notified by those so you can get a bunch of free stuff, because who doesn't love free stuff? Anyhow, hope you enjoy and have a good day.